director of Children Without Borders, who has been coordinating with our camp since last year. So it's been 2 years that CWB has been sponsoring our camp and coordinating. A lot of the efforts behind the scenes that you see is also happening through Children Without Borders and Nooria Kamran. So it's my honor and privilege to invite Nooria Kamran to talk to you for a few minutes. Tell a little bit about CWB, introduce herself, and also give you guys a little motivation, because Nooria Jan is one of the amazing young people, actually one of the most impressive people that I have met in Canada, of the Afghan people in Afghan community in Canada who have been working for Afghanistan, including the campaign that we did last year through CWB, in which Nooria Jan and the team raised more than 200,000 Canadian dollar. That is like, I don't know, 20 million Afghanis or something. It's a lot of money that the team raised last year to help Afghanistan during Ramadan. This year, actually, this current year. Yeah, sorry, not last year, this current year. So Nooria Jan, would you like to introduce yourself? I'm gonna, I don't know if I wanna keep the screen. I would rather close the screen so that people can see your video. So welcome Nooria Jan, and please share anything you may have with us.
Thank you, Naqib John. First of all, salam to all of you guys, especially Walid John and Naqib John. You guys have been putting in a lot of efforts and hard work into this, making this a very successful camp. My name is Nooria Kamran. I'm one of the founders of Children Without Borders. We're a registered nonprofit organization with the vision of fighting against child labor in Afghanistan. And that's our main vision. Aside from that, we have been doing campaigns to fight poverty in Afghanistan, especially during COVID-19, and as well as helping children that have medical conditions. So that's what CWB is all about. We're a fairly new organization. We're only launched in October 2016, but we're very happy that so far we have close to 450 children that used to be child laborers, and now they're all students, full-time students with a guaranteed income from CWB, and we take pride in what we do, and we're very happy to have dedicated members like Naqib John. He's actually one of our very valued and dedicated member at CWB. Last year when Naqib John shared the idea of camp with me, which I believe he's one of the founders of Camp Afghanistan, he told me about the things that, some of the things that Camp Afghanistan offers to especially students that are in grade 11 and 12 and on their way to start second part of their education, going into university and college. We're very, very excited, and last year I know was a lot different than this year. They had in-person camp inside Ghazni, and to be honest, when that day when Walid John, you brought me on the live session, I was so impressed because I have been away from Afghanistan since I was 4 years old, and some of the things that I saw at Camp Afghanistan, it just blew my mind. I didn't know that, so many things were possible in Afghanistan, and Camp Afghanistan has been doing an amazing job. So congrats to both of you guys, and I want to see more and more of the amazing work that you guys are doing and the difference that you guys are making. That's it. I think that's.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nooria Jan. Yeah, thanks a lot for all the nice comments you shared. I also wanted to, you talked about CWB, but one of the things that our campers are doing, we have divided our sessions this year into 3 parts. So one is the study abroad, which we try to prepare students for education abroad, like universities and stuff. The second part is that we are doing a community development session, and which is most related to the work of CWB. Community development is that our students are taking courses and sessions to get prepared for doing some community project work in their community, to like organize an English language course or like do some sort of volunteering in the community. And I know CWB has a lot of volunteer opportunities, especially when working with children. So I was wondering if you could share something about that. Would there be any opportunity for our campus students to to work with CWB as a volunteer?
Of course, that's what we were, when we had our last board meeting at CWB, Naqib John shared that idea, and we're very, very happy to see if some of you guys, if not all of you guys, could join and help us with our vision. So basically, most of our work in Afghanistan, we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for dedicated Afghan, especially youth, that are there to, to make a difference. We've all seen a lot of war. We've seen a lot of, Afghanistan has been a country that's been in war for so long, but at the same time, especially when we sponsor these families, they have a lot of potential. Some of these kids that we have in our program, they're as young as 2-3 years old, and we have seen them in the last 4 years. We have seen a drastic change in their lives, in their families' lives, and now they all have a vision. They all want to be educated members of the community. They want to become somebody, and you guys have that opportunity, and I hope to see at least some of you join CWB, whether it's a volunteer or it's like, even if it's for a short period of time, for 2 months, 3 months, or a year. We would love to have some of you with us. And you guys can see, when we started CWB, there was only 3 of us, and we didn't even know that in 4 years we could expand so much that now we have our projects in 7 different provinces across Afghanistan. And if you guys I saw the map that you shared with me, Naqib John, that has from a lot of provinces, and we want to expand our vision in those provinces. The only thing that's stopping us is members. And if you guys have that passion, if you guys want to take a child from being a child on the street and turn them into an educated child or someone who belongs in school, we can help you do that. And together we can make a difference. Together we can, not just when you're helping a child, especially when you're giving a child the access to education, you're not just helping one child, you're helping an entire family. And so I hope, especially some of the provinces, I think Parwan, I saw, sorry, I dropped my phone. There's some of the provinces that Naqib John shared with me. So I really, somebody just messaged Herat. We have 1 member in Herat, but we're always looking for more people in Herat. So they can either get in touch with Naqib John, we're working on our website right now. It's down, but we're working on the website. We will have job postings very shortly. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to Naqib John or to myself or even Walid John, and we can make a difference. There are a lot of opportunities, a lot of even for you guys. There might be certain areas where we can help you achieve your goal. For example, we have contracts with University of Qatib in Kabul. So if any of you are from Kabul, we can help you get a scholarship, or we can help you in any way we can. And in return, if you can help us broaden our vision in the provinces that you guys are, it will be great.
Thanks a lot, Nooria John. I will get some questions from our members if you have any questions for Nooria John. I know a lot of the questions will be, how can I participate as a volunteer? That's the information I will share with you after the camp. Inshallah, I will share. CWB will actually share with you Google Documents. The same way you applied for the camp, you will be able to apply as a mentor, because CWB is sponsoring a lot of small children like grade 4 and 5 to go to school, and they will need some mentors just the same way you're attending the camp, for you to go and train other people. So those applications, we will have a lot of other opportunities at CWB which you can all participate and volunteer for. So they can even become, sorry Naqib John, they can even become an ambassador, a youth ambassador in the province that you're from. You can be a youth ambassador and inspiration to other children or other kids your age. So if that's something you're interested, please feel free to reach out. That's great, Nooria John. Thanks a lot. I will get questions, but because there will be a lot of questions, please raise your hand and then we can take from anybody who raised their hand first. First come, first serve. So I see the first hand is raised by Turialai Amiri. Surya John, you can ask your questions, but I hope you can keep it short because we will have a big session to cover today. So go ahead, Surya John.
I thank you so much, Nooria Jan and Sarwary sir. Yesterday, actually, we talked a lot about you, and we really missed you. I wish you were there yesterday as well because we so much.
I
It
was
was
just
so fun,
sleeping, Surya John.
and I really thank Nooria for her for all she does for our communities and for Afghanistan for the children with the borders. I actually have a question about what made her start this campaign, or I can say uh, this project. She started to run. What made her run this project in societies or in Afghanistan? The other thing is that actually I have a big committee here in Kandahar. We are alumni community. We is last year in 2019 we ran several campaigns, and we asked several officials for donating some children or uh, fundraising so we can help some children or orphans and communities or in the families. They actually helped with us a lot, and we started to help families. But in this year, we didn't have anything to go for them or to help them. But if there are any, or if there are, like, if you want to run a project in Kandahar, or you have a plan here for Kandahar, so you're welcome. You can contact us, or I can introduce some of my partners. I can say like some of my colleagues. They're really interested to help, and they're really eager to help and reach out children. So I hope you have gotten my first question, and I'm looking forward to receiving the answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Toriel John. So first of all, I'm a mom myself. I became a parent when I was young. I had my daughter when I was 19 years old, and from when I had my daughter, my entire focus changed into my entire focus was on my daughter, how I want to raise her, how to save for her education, because in Canada, education is very expensive. And my vision initially was to help women that are in abusive relationship, to help them or open a platform for them where they can feel safe and they can get themselves out of those abusive relationships. And so I started doing some research, and we were almost getting there. But one night I was actually browsing YouTube, and I came across a documentary called Streets of Kabul, Street Children of Kabul. And that's a documentary about child labor in Kabul. That hit me hard. And from that second onward, because I had so many goals set for my children, especially for my daughter and my son, and I said, you know what, I live in a country where everything is accessible. If I can, if I want something, I work hard for it and I'm able to get it. But there are parents in Afghanistan that no matter how hard they work, they don't have that platform, they don't have that chance or opportunity to help their kids achieve something. And that was the main reason that I started CWB, and then we shifted our entire focus on child labor. And the other point that we had is in Farsi, they say if there's a Zarbul Masal in Farsi that I just have I can't remember it right now, but it's, if you want to build something, you have to make sure that your foundation is very strong. And even with Afghanistan, I believe that if education is accessible to more children, and if we have a generation where everybody's educated, Afghanistan might change, the war might end, and at least there won't be a lot of poverty and all that. So that was the other reason that we started CWB. And to answer your second point, just like Naqib John mentioned before, we had two very successful campaigns during Ramadan. The first one was a campaign to help families that were affected by COVID-19. And we delivered 8 to 15 provinces in Afghanistan. We really wanted to help out Kandahar, but we didn't have anybody to help us out in Kandahar. We were looking for members, but we didn't have a very reliable or trustworthy source. So that's why we couldn't help out Kandahar. But if you're in Kandahar, please connect us or connect Naqib John, and we would love to broaden our vision in Kandahar. We want to take children that are, that are on the street. They don't have a future. They don't have, all they worry about is bringing one-time meal to their families. So we want to make sure to take that worry away from them and give them access to education. And that's it.
Thanks a lot, Nooria Jan. I see Zamira Sharifi has also raised her hand. Zamira has joined our camp a few days later, but I'm glad she's asking the question. Zamira, you can go ahead.
Hello, it's Nooria Jan. Hope you be fine. Hope to all of you be fine. I have a question. You said you have many scholarship to the children who go to study. Do you want to say? I want to say who support these children to in abroad to study, because in abroad studying and education are so expensive. Because of this, I want to say who or support this cost or value.
So when we, first of all, the children or the families that we have in our sponsorship right now, they're a lot younger. They're from 4 years old all the way. The oldest child that we have sponsored right now is 15 years old. So we don't have anybody yet that we have got them a scholarship abroad. That's something that we're working on. We're trying to get scholarships through a lot of schools in Canada. There were 3 universities that we met last year, and but we don't have that, we don't have any child right now that's in grade 11 or grade 12 yet. But what I meant earlier is that we have a program with Naqib. Naqib is, a school and also university based in Kabul. We have a contract with them, and students that are that want to pursue their studies in university, we get up to 50% off of their tuition, and the rest of the 50% we try to find donors for them. That means we do a biography of the family, and we create a video of the family to let the donor know that this specific family, this is the reason why they need help. This is the reason, all the reasons that they need help, whether they're missing a parent, or their parents cannot provide for them, and they're doing really well in school. They want to pursue their education. When we do a full bio, we send it off to the donor, and the donors, they pick the family they want to sponsor, and that's how our sponsorship starts. But right now, we don't have anybody that we have sent abroad as of yet, but we are working on that.
Thanks a lot, Nooria Jan. I do acknowledge it is very late night for us here in Canada, and for you, especially when we have children, a lot of other responsibilities. I'll take one more question, Nooria Jan, from Zainab John, who has raised her hand for a few minutes now, and that will be our last question, and then we can wrap it up for you, Nooria Jan.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome. Of course, you're welcome to stay longer if you want, but maybe it's time for you. Yeah, Zainab, go ahead. You can take your question.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Do you have my voice?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I want to say welcome to Miss Nooria Jan, and appreciate her hard working that she is cooperating with Afghanistan camp, and also having such a beautiful campaign or program, which is CWB, and it will be honored to us to take part in CWB and work. And as you know that Afghanistan is a poor country, and teaching a child means that teaching a. And my question was that could you please share your Facebook page with us to be in touch with you? And I'm from Herat, and do you have a member in Herat city?
Zainab John, thank you, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you guys. My Facebook page, it's Nooria, Nooria. My last name Kamran. You can also check CWB's page. It's called CWB-Children Without Borders. We're actually sponsoring about 4 families in Herat right now. We do have 1 female member in Herat, but like I said before, we want to expand our vision more in other provinces. Right now, the majority of the children that are sponsored through CWB are from Kabul, and the reason is because we have more members in Kabul than any other provinces. And we also have more, contacts or contracts with schools and other facilities that has made it easier for us to follow up with these families and all that. If you're interested, we want to start a mentorship, which I'm sure Naqib will talk to you guys about it later. We want to start a mentorship in all these provinces, Kabul, Herat, Mazar, Faryab, and Logar, all these provinces. If you guys want to join us to become a member where you see these families on a monthly basis, you can do that. Or if you want to become a mentor to these children, you're more than welcome to do that. You just contact Naqib or myself, and we'll be more than happy to guide you.
Thank you, ma'am. It is an honor to meet with you, and absolutely we will touch on you through social medias. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab Jan.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nooria Jan. There are more questions. Saeed Ahmad Sadat asked a question in the chat box. Says, I just wanted to ask how you manage this at the initial times. I guess he means how you started it at the beginning. And do you have members in Nangarhar?
So initially what happened is when we introduced CWB to the Afghan community in Toronto, we did a press conference, and I forgot to mention, but CWB is the first Canadian organization that's addressing child labor in Afghanistan. And we did a press conference. We had about 100 people that attended that press conference, and from there we found 3 donors, and we started our vision that night. It was September 29, 2016, with 3 families, and people started, we post all the updates. We used to post it on our social media, and more people started reaching out to us. We're a very, very transparent organization. From the very beginning of our vision, we made a promise that whoever that donates to any campaign, whether it's long-term or a campaign for Ramadan or any other campaign, we deliver 100% of these donations to the families or the children that we have sponsored. Our transparency has got us this far, and we want to continue our transparency. Most of our members are volunteer. They have a passion to help these families, and that's about it.
Okay, Nooria Jan, thank you very much. I'm sure there's a lot of interest among the camp members, because the camp members that you meet, and some of them had an opportunity to ask you questions, are among what we call the emerging leaders of Afghanistan. There are people who in the future are going to, or even now, they are leaders in their communities right now. A lot of them are doing some really amazing work in all different provinces of Afghanistan. And they will make really great members for CWB and other projects to bring good changes in Afghanistan. So with that, as you said, there will be an application for Children Without Borders at the end of the camp. I do have email addresses of everybody. We all have a Facebook group, which Nooria Jan, you're also part of, and we can reach all the members there. They're all in our WhatsApp groups as well. So there's a lot of ways to stay in touch. But I guess it's around 9:30 in Afghanistan, and according to our schedule, we're gonna move to another session. But Nooria Jan, if you have any closing remarks, you're welcome to share. Otherwise, you can stay in the call if you want to, or you can leave if you want to. We will be happy to have you.
Once again, Naqib Jan, Walid Jan, thank you so much for doing. It's almost 1 in the morning for us and for you, Naqib Jan, and you're especially the last week or so. You've been working really hard, so thank you, everyone, and I hope to see most of you apply for a position and become our member. You can join. We call this CWB family, and I hope to see a lot of you guys in that family, and help these families. That's our main vision, and I won't take too much of everyone's time. So it was a pleasure meeting all of you guys. And if you guys have any question, feel free to reach out to me. I posted my Facebook ID or Naqib Jan, and I'm also part of the camp page on Facebook. And all the best to all of you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jan,
No problem.
for joining. We appreciate your support. We wholeheartedly support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.
Have a good night, Naqib Jan.
And
Yeah.
me too. Goodbye.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Nooria.
much.
You're welcome to stay if you want to, but yeah.
I will stay for a little bit, but I'm gonna turn off my camera and my mic.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we have a session on fundraising, which I'm sure you know a lot about, but it's for students and you can get a taste of how it is.
Perfect.
Cool. So guys, no more games today, okay? No more games for the morning. There will be games after this, I think, depending on who will be doing the next session. But for me, what I'm gonna share with you today is about the community development. You worked on, I'm sure a lot of you have ideas on what community project you work on. And there you go, there's another community project which you can work on, CWB, in your community. So what I'm gonna do is how you can raise funds for your community projects. So imagine you want to start an English language course in your community. How do you raise funds for that? You need to buy notebooks, you need to buy pens and stationery and stuff. So I'm gonna share with you some of the what I call fundraising 101 or fundraising for beginners to learn about some steps you can raise funds in your community, even within the community, not to look for resources abroad, but even within the community. So what I'm gonna do is first, I want to define what fundraising is. So fundraising is the process of raising funds, whether it's money or resources. So it's not always about money. It could be somebody who owns a notebook shop will donate you like 20 notebooks for your camp or for your English course or whatever. And then this happens by requesting donations from individuals. You can reach out to individuals, people you know in the community. It could be businesses, some of the stores or local stores in your community. It could be charitable foundations and also governmental agencies. So there are a lot of different places where you can raise funds. I will go a little more detail as we go forward. So why we do fundraising? It could apply, this applies to big organizations like Children Without Borders, or even to us as individuals when you want to raise the small funds of like 1,000 to 5,000 Afghanis or whatever to support our small project. So it is to get the money to pay for the cost of the program, like for example, the stationery, transportation, snacks, etc. And also to raise awareness. So I want you to know that fundraising is not only about raising money, it's also about raising awareness. So when you go to reach out to somebody, like for example, the same way we do with Children Without Borders, when we reach out to our donors and ask them for donations, even if they do not make a donation at the moment, we actually at least educate them about the child labor in Afghanistan, what is the situation of children in Afghanistan, how many children are out of school. It's all about raising awareness, and that awareness will lead into another step, which I'm sure if people understand the situation, they will most likely be happy to help as well. And why do people make a donation? It's because they are asked. So if you want to raise funds for your small project or for your big project, so the reason, one of the first steps you have to do is ask the people. You know, if you don't ask people to make a donation, you will never be able to raise the money you want to raise. And fundraising is not. So that's all I said fundraising is, but fundraising is not. You can unmute yourself and say what fundraising is not, if you want to. Any students want to volunteer to say what fundraising is not?
Like fundraising is not showing yourself to others that I'm supporting this program or to get reputation.
Thanks a lot, Zaina John. I unfortunately did not hear your voice very well, but thanks.
Did you hear my voice?
If you rather type it, I can read your if you type it. Yeah.
I think.
Okay,
Hello,
sir.
sir. I think fundraising is not about money. It's about giving it to the people who need it. Neither it's about giving.
It's about giving. Thanks a lot, Faima John. Yeah. I also say Said Ahmad Salah said fundraising is not compelling others to fund it. It is to encourage them to fund. Yeah, it's like not forcing people to make a donation. Don't make them uncomfortable. It's rather encouraging them. Exactly. Yeah. So okay, that's a few ones I got, and then I'll go to the next slide. I'm sure there's a lot, but I'll just take a few students at a time. So this is what I say, fundraising is not begging. You're not begging people for money. It's not begging. So fundraising is fundraising. It's raising money for a good cause. It's not begging. And what is this? So fundraising is an opportunity. When you go to a donor to ask them for donation, it's actually an opportunity to make them feel good about themselves, feel happy. And that's what fundraising is, because you're working for a good cause. If you're working to, for example, like Children Without Borders, to raise money to send children to take children from the streets, from shoe polishing and things like that, and put them in school to have a bright future, you're giving people an opportunity to work for a worthy cause. And that's what fundraising is. You're helping people reach happiness, basically. So where do we raise funds? That's the question that came from Fahima Noor here. I said community philanthropists. That's one of the people in your community who have the money to give. It's not necessarily the people who have the money will give you the money, but it's most likely the people who have the ability, or the people you can reach out to. Your local masjid sometimes. If you wanna, for example, organize a community project which is planting trees in your neighborhood, because it's a springtime, you want to plant some trees to have a green neighborhood, and you want to start from where? You go to the mosque, you ask your neighbors, you say like, okay, let's all of us put something together to organize something like a planting project, to plant some trees around our neighborhood to make it green. It could be university students. If you're going to university students, sometimes you ask them to make a small donation of like 10 Afghanis or 20 Afghanis, but it's, as I said before, it's not only about money, it's about raising awareness. High school students could also be the group of people. Not all high school students have the money to donate, but some, even it's a small amount. We did a project once with high school students, which we raised a small amount of money, but a lot of support. Learning centers, there are a lot of learning centers like Lincoln Learning Center, places like that where you can do fundraising, small fundraising. And there are foundations and grants which you can apply by proposals if you're eligible, and also some other organizations that are not foundations, you can apply there. I will read your questions at the end. I see chats are coming, but if I look at the chat, I get distracted a little bit. But feel free to post your questions. I'll get all of them. Okay, here. So fundraising is just like any other program you want to do. Like if you want to organize a program, a community project, fundraising is a system. So what you should do, you should plan for your fundraising, you should do marketing, you should build relationships, you should have plan and strategy on how you want to ask your donor to make a donation. And then also acknowledge your donor and recognize your donor when somebody makes a donation to your program. Make sure you thank them on time, give them the effect of your program, how much difference your program makes, and also evaluate your work. One time you do a fundraising, you see if it's a successful fundraising, you evaluate it, and then did it work or not, and then you can try again for the next time. So I'm gonna share with you one example that I did myself, a fundraising when I was back in Afghanistan. This is a photo from Ghazni province, and here you see some of our volunteers. Omar Malikior, which is one of your counselors, is here as well. This is me. This is my dad. These are some of the children from local orphanage that we raised funds from the community, not from anybody outside of Afghanistan, from the community. We asked people like high school students to make a donation so we can do a small community project to raise funds for children. And this is, we called it Eid Orphanage because it's close to Eid during Ramadan. We raise funds to buy clothes and stationery for these children. We buy them clothes, some stuff for Eid. So what you should do actually for your project is to build, whether it's an organization, it's something like our summer camp, something like Children Without Borders, or even a small project. What you need to do is what is called a little description of your program. So it should be a 20-word sentence. I know we want to put a lot of information on our project, like what is our project, but you have to do what you should do is like here, as it's written here, boil it down, like make it small, like don't put a lot of words, because when you put a lot of words, some people will not read it. It's the same in Facebook posts, it's the same in papers. So what you should do, so the example I said about Eid with Orphanage, this is what our statement was for Eid with Orphanage. we said when we went to our donors, I mean, of course, we told them in Farsi, but I put it in English here because our camp is in English, so that you can also improve your English. So we told our donors and the people who, like high school students or local community philanthropists, what we told them is, we said either with orphanage is, and then you offer what is either. We said it's a donation program that offers clothing, stationery, and snacks to children in Ghazni local orphanage in order to help them celebrate Eid away from their families, because we said they don't have families and they want to celebrate Eid. So that's why we want to ask you to make a donation. It's an emotional cause. It's a really good cause, and people got an opportunity to donate. Even if it's a small. I had one student who donated 1 Afghani. He just looked at his pocket. He said 1 Afghani, and he donated that. But he donated with a lot of passion. And it's not about his money. It's about his care. He looked and he like, oh, I could see almost tears in his eye when we explained, like, these kids are away from their families, they have lost their parents in war, and we want them to have a good Eid, to celebrate Eid the same way as we do. So we want you to make a donation. So even a small amounts of money we brought together, we helped almost 60 students, 60 orphans at this project. And so there are some basic truths about fundraising. I saw some question here from somebody who said how we can encourage our fundraisers, Said Ahmad Sadat said, to trust us. So that's a really important part. When we went to high schools, a lot of the high school principals told us, like, oh, you're not allowed to fundraise in our schools. And I said, why not? They said, like, oh, everybody will come up here and they want to fundraise. We don't know where the money goes. It's so hard to trust people. And then what we did is we went to Lincoln Learning Center, and because I was an alumni of American Councils, we also went to American Councils, and we asked them to give us a letter. So they gave us a letter, a document said that these are our alumni. They want to do a community project, and we kind of certify these people that they will do the project. They're not just asking for money for themselves, basically. So that's important, trust, whether it's recognition from the government or it's recognition from organizations like Children Without Borders, like American Councils, or like Lincoln Learning Center, to recognize you as a person who could be trusted. A strategic plan, you have to make a plan. You have to know where you're going, which schools you're going, which community centers, which mosque, for example, you're going to do fundraising. You have to have a strategy for that. Raising friends, I put here raising friends is equal raising funds. So the more people you will have in your group. Sorry, I didn't notice I'm talking too fast. So raising friends is like raising funds. If you have a lot of friends and you bring your friends into your community project, you bring a lot of members. All the members, you can send them to different parts, have them meet a lot of different people and make donations. So that is, if you have more friends, that means you have a lot of funds. You can raise a lot of funds. And I said fundraising is selling. It's like selling, when you want to sell something to somebody, you have to convince them that it's a good thing to buy. And the same way it's with fundraising. When you want to ask a donor to make a donation, you have to sell your idea. Like whether it's like you want to do like a need with orphanage, you have to go to the donor and convince them to buy your product, which is basically donating, is to donate to you for a reason. It's when you want to sell something, you have to convince the person. And donors are not harvested but nurtured. So this one, I say these things because I also studied fundraising, which I did not mention at the beginning. It's part of some of the courses that I took. So I'm sharing some of my courses with you. So donors are not harvested but nurtured. So donors are not like you just go out there and find donor. It's like donors are developed over time. When you find an organization that you work with, you try to invest in the organization, try to do as much transparent work as you can, report on every single dollar or every single Afghani you raise, to build that relationship, because it's really important. And if you do not report back exactly, if you don't keep your donors happy, it's really hard for them to make a donation to you again or trust you again. So keep that in mind as well. So I put some do's and don'ts. So what you should do in fundraising and what you should not do in your fundraising. And this applies, as I said before, from an individual fundraising for a very small program like teaching English to your neighbors, for example. For 3 people, you teach them 3 people, you mentor 3 people. That needs fundraising from as small as that, as big organizations like organizations that raise millions of dollars. It's the same principle. You have to have a good story and a case for support. So what I shared before was a case for support, a little description that I said like Camp Afghanistan is, which offers 2 because of this. That's your case for support. You have to build that at 20 sentence, about 20 sentence, 19, 20, doesn't really matter. I will share this presentation with you so you can take a look. And urgency can be an opportunity sometimes. When something happens really urgent in your community, you can find that as a way to help. Like for example, there's a flood happening and people are losing their houses and people are losing their businesses. You know, that it's an urgent time that you can help fundraise, and people will make donations at times where it's urgent. And then the third option is diversify the sources of your fundraising. So it's not always rely on one opportunity. So what we did actually with the example I shared with you, I will keep referring to that because you know now the project. So with the Eat with Orphanage, what we did is we went to local community like philanthropists. We went to high school students, we went to university students. We had a diversity of donors to come and donate to our project. We did not ask for one specific group, because what if that specific group does not make a donation to your program? So basically your program fails. So what you have to do, you have to have a couple of options. Like, okay, if this person doesn't donate, this one will, this one will. And then the last one is plan to have a goal amount. You say, okay, I'm raising 5,000 Afghanis, or I'm raising 3,000 Afghanis. That's your goal. And then you want to raise also a plan on how you will spend that money. So you should have all that in a written document so that you can share with donors when you go to meet them. And there are some don'ts. Do not become a pessimistic. So don't think negative because it's really hard to ask people for money to raise funds, and I'm sure Nooria would agree, although she has raised a lot of money. But at the beginning, it seems a little negative. You know, it seems a little like, oh, maybe I'm not able to do this. It's really hard and things like that. And we want you not to feel like that, because that's very natural. Everybody might think negative. It's about everything. When you apply for a scholarship, like at the beginning, you say, okay, thousands of people are applying. Maybe I'm not one of the ones that I'm selected. But maybe you are one of the ones that are selected. So you always have to stay positive and never feel negative. And do not apologize when you're asking for a donation. So when you go to somebody to ask for a donation, don't say, oh, I'm very sorry, can you make it? No, you're not sorry. You're not asking, you're not begging. You're asking them to take part in a good cause. And you don't have to apologize for that. It's they can choose to say yes or no, but you don't have to apologize. And do not lose a relationship. So that's basically once you build a relationship with a community group, or with a donor, or even with an organization like Lincoln Learning Center or Children Without Borders, try to keep that relationship, even if it's a small little volunteering work or something. Try to keep that relationship, because that certainly helps you in the future during your university, during your high school years and everything. And so there are 6 steps for your fundraising. If you're one of the people who value step-by-step work, there are 6 steps for you to take to do fundraising. Develop a realistic budget. So once you imagine you have a community project. Imagine one of you want to do a plantation project. You want to plant 100 trees around your city. So you have that. Okay, so now what you should do, you should develop a realistic budget. So how much each tree costs? Each of them might cost like, okay, 50 Afghanis. You 50 multiply 100, that will be your budget. So that's how much money you need, plus transportation costs and some other things. That's your budget. Write down the plan. You have to write your plan down, because if it's just in your head, people will forget it. Or if it's just somewhere within your phone, people will forget it. But if you have a team, you have to keep your team always in the loop, share with them, and tell them this is our budget, this is how far we are, and this is what we should do next. Estimation of how much the fundraising program will cost. So some of the fundraising you do will cost some money. For example, you want to go and visit a donor. You will take a taxi from one place to another, or you will, for example, whatever, you make a phone call to a donor, and you have to pay for that. And that's not something that you will have to pay for yourself. Even if you do a community project, for these small costs, you can take the money out of your fundraising program, because you're giving your time, you're giving your energy, and that's a lot. You do not have to spend money from yourself unless you have the money and you want to do it. Create a timeline. You have to make a timeline. Okay, this is my project. This time I'm going to start fundraising. This is the time I will make I'll share it in my Facebook. This is the time I will buy the tree. This is the time I will plant the tree. This is the time I will take a picture of the tree and post it on Facebook so that my donors see and see the difference, things like that. So you have to create a timeline, a step-by-step timeline. Identify funding sources. So it's basically back to the thing, you have to find out your donors, like, okay, this is my donor, this is my donor, you know, identify that. And what I encourage you, as Seemin encouraged you yesterday, to have a journal, you know, journal is really important. Like, this is my little journal. I put everything about camp here. I took it from my office, I put everything here. I say like, okay, today I'm gonna work on this, this, this. So I have it all here. This is my to-do list. And the same way you have to have you know, a timeline of something. You have to have like a project, like a little thing, you put everything in writing, because if it's only in your head, you sleep and you forget it tomorrow. So put this all in writing, whether it's in your computer or a small notebook or something. And then evaluate. Once you do your fundraising, once you go through all the steps, you did the project is successful, sit with yourself or with your group for 1 or 2 hours and say, okay guys, we did this project. We planted 100 trees. What was good points about it, and what were good points about it, and what were bad points about it, what we can improve. So those things. And so identify funding sources. As I said here, there are many different sources. There are government or foundations, especially events, product sales, and soliciting funds online. So you can look at this. So I'm gonna say like about some of them. So for example, especially events, what you can do, you can organize a book club in your Lincoln Learning Center or any other educational center you are part of. You can do a book club, and then you see, okay, we meet every month here for the book. You read books, 1 point. And then you say, anybody who comes into the book club will have to donate like 50 Afghani towards this project that we are doing. And then all of you can read book, make a project. Product sale is like you buy snacks. For example, you buy something in 5 Afghani, and then you sell it in 10 Afghani, and then you raise that money to donate for a cause, or to donate to a cause, or even to do your own project. So this could happen anywhere, in your school, in Lincoln Learning Center, and everywhere. And then there's another option which you can raise funds online through Facebook, and there's a platform called GoFundMe, where you can put your idea, and then if you know people to send the links to, they can make a donation. We are happy to help you as part of Camp Afghanistan to do fundraising online, but we will need actually that a Lincoln Learning Center, if you partner with a Lincoln Learning Center for your project, we will be happy to do that online fundraising, to help you with the online fundraising. I'll skip this, and this is my last slide, and then I'll take some questions for a few minutes. So this is a small grant. This is like a grant proposal. I will also share the Word document sample. I took it from YCL. It's a Youth Solidarity and English Language Program with American Councils. So when I went to India and I came back to India when I was about your age, when I was 17, I went to India, and then when I came back, American Councils told us, okay, we will give you 1,000 up to 5,000 Afghanis, and you can do a project. But what you have to do is you have to first write as a proposal. So this is a very small proposal where you put like project title, who are the people working here, their contact information, how long is your project, where is your project, and what kind of people you want to help, things like that. And then there are 200 words, you know, there is some little description here for your project budget, and that makes a project proposal. And a lot of proposals look the same. So even though it's a small fundraising opportunity that we did with American Council, but even if you apply to donations of like, hopefully one day when you have a stable organization, if you want to apply for donations of bigger than this amount, to thousands of dollars, you can still most of the time use the same proposal template. So I will stop sharing my screen, and I will come to some of the questions. So anybody who has a question, can raise your hand, and this does not have to be a question, it can be a reflection. You're welcome to raise your hand, and I will be happy to get you in the line if there are a lot of questions. I want to take a question from Hosna, because we have not taken any questions, not in my time at camp, from Hosna. So Hosna, you can go ahead and ask your question or reflection.
Well, thank you for
I'm very sorry, Osma. We do not hear your voice, and I want to ask Walid to mute you, please. Because, yeah, it will be. We will get back to your question. You can type it down. We will just take it. Everybody's time.
Trying to mute her, but I don't know why it doesn't
Okay.
work. Like now muted.
Yeah, until Osma, you can type your question. I will read it here because I'm sorry I could not hear you. I will take. That will come anyways. Hamid, you can go ask your question. The voice will be over.
Whose voice is this?
I just want to explain my own.
Hamid, do you want to go and ask your question?
Thank you and hello for everyone. There was just an intruding voice out there, but that's okay. I just want to ask you that there's always a flow of people who want to fundraise or want to fund some projects or some ideas, but finding that flows and finding that the streams are sometimes hard because we have some people who have the ideas and who have fundraised their ideas, so they are in that flow, like Miss Kamran. But the people who, like us, who just wanted to start to start making an idea to getting fund, find it hard to find the people who want to fund such ideas. So I just wanted to ask, how can we recognize or how can we find that flow of the people or donate or NGOs or the sectors who can fund the ideas, so we could be generate ideas and it will make it easy for us to fundraise our ideas. This was my question.
Yeah, thanks, Hamid John. So as I showed in the presentation, I focused a lot about community fundraising, like fundraising that you will do within your community. But of course, there are opportunities when you can fundraise internationally through other projects. There are some other projects, for example, among one that one of my friends worked with, it's called the Pollination Project, which I will talk. I hope pollination. I hope, as Yosamin told you yesterday, to get a journal that all of you have, and you can record these names as we post it. So this is a small this is an organization that funds small projects. You do not have to be part of an organization, but they can donate up to $1,000. If you have a good, compelling idea that you want to, like, you sell your idea and they accept your idea, you can raise funds from there. GoFundMe is another way. If you have friends internationally, some of your friends, they study abroad and things like that, you want to raise funds and they can help you raise funds, that's another way. People to donate with their Visa and credit card. And it's mostly about Googling, Google opportunities there. Find an alumni in your community. If you're a part of a Lincoln Learning Center, if there's an alumni of the United States government, they have some small grants that you can apply. You can partner your project with them and have them apply for the fund, because they, as an alumni, they can ask for that gift, for that donation. So yeah, those are some of the opportunities. I would say if you want to apply for international organizations, the best thing is Google. See what ask Google who supports certain projects, and then you can find a list of organizations that can help you. But if it's within the community, yeah, you have to identify people by yourself. But that's a really good question, Amijan. Thanks a lot. We hopefully will share some other opportunities in the Facebook group as well. Nick Muhammad, I wrote the name of the organization. It's called the Pollination Project. Nargis, yes, I can take another question from you, and that will be our last question for this session. I guess you have to unmute yourself, Nargis, if you want to ask a question.
Hello, my idea was that how can we come up with ideas of building the project? If you tell us some ideas for beginners, that we will be able to take bigger projects in the future.
Sure. So yes, Nargis John, very good question. Not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I did a presentation about some examples of community projects, and at the last day of your camp, on the 16th of July, Harun John, one of our counselors, will do another presentation about some examples of the community project, a much more updated version than the one I did. Because the projects I worked on in Afghanistan was like 3 years ago, but the ones that Harun John will be sharing with you are some examples of like really good ideas you can implement in your communities. So keep looking forward for that presentation. It's on the last day of the camp, I think at 9 a.m. in the morning. Okay, that's it, Walid John, for me. Thanks everybody for joining my session. It's probably one of my last sessions. I will be in the graduation too, but I try to keep up with my sleep. I have to work in the morning. I have to wake up early in the morning for my office work. So I will not be able to participate all the sessions because it's almost 2 a.m. here in Canada. And I see Nooria John is still in our call. Thanks a lot, Nooria John, for joining, and thanks a lot for listening to my presentation.
No problem, Naqib John. These are very, very useful tips. I mean, when we started CWB, we didn't have any of these ideas or, you know, these tips. So, you know, they're very useful tips. Use them. And thank you again. It was a pleasure being here. And thank you for all that information, Naqib John.
Thank you, Nooria John, for joining in. And thanks to CWB for supporting our project that has enabled all these students to activate their internet and come and join the sessions and learn something. So thank you, Nooria John, and thank you to the CWB team.
No problem.
Okay, Walid John, so I'm passing it to you, and I'm done for today. I hope you had fun. No games today, huh? Maybe next time.
Before I start my session about submit a proposed study abroad session, I talked with Ilyas and he's like, I have nothing to do with my life. I said, yeah, you have something to do. Just let's make a fun activity for students today. And
okay.
he said, okay, I'm gonna do it. And what I like about Ilyas that when you give him something to do, he's really passionate to do it and he will do it. So now we're gonna start with a fun activity and then we will go to the study abroad session. Ilyas, I'm allowing you to share your screen and let's do the fun activity first.
Okay, thank you everyone. I hope you enjoyed your session. Before starting, Walid John, you asked that you will have a break.
Okay, we will. Okay, yeah.
You wanna have?
Let's have 4 minutes break. Is that okay with you, everyone? And then we will have a fun activity. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll play music for you in the 4 minutes. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is right.
you can come back in 4 minutes. Yeah, you will be here. You will have a very interesting game, of course.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, very nice song, music. Yeah, actually. So we are gonna start our game, and then I'm gonna leave. So I'm so passionate and excited about the game. Everyone is here. I think everyone is back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm here.
Yes, sir, we are ready.
All right. So, very short explanation about the game. I'm gonna show the old picture of politicians, singers, and as well as effective and positive people in our community and in international setting. So you're gonna guess who is that person. I hope everyone guess right. It will develop your critical thinking as well. Ready?
Yes. Yes. Great.
Yes.
All right. Walid John, what did you ask?
Should they write their answer in the chat board? Or should they
they can write it in chat bar because everyone should be able to read it as well. It will be very disorganized if they unmute themselves and speak up. So I'm gonna share. I hope everyone gets right. If yeah, absolutely, the campers and counselor are included in this game. So I'm gonna share. Who is this?
This is Mr. Naqib Sarwary.
Naqib Sarwary.
All right.
Okay. At first,
Yes,
I said
Naqib Sarwary.
Oh, yeah, so right. Who is this one?
Vladimir Putin.
Oh,
Yeah, Vladimir
yeah,
Putin.
the president of Russia.
Oh,
Yes, you're right.
How handsome.
Who is this one?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. He's Martin
No,
Luther King.
no, it is not.
Nelson Mandela.
George
Nelson
Bush.
Mandela.
Absolutely no.
Muhammad Ali Khalid.
No,
Obama.
not right yet.
Oh,
He's one of the African boys.
Nelson Mandela.
No. I'm
So
just
he's
1
Barack
minute
Obama.
more. No, he's not Barack Obama. So if you don't want to tell the right answer, I'm gonna tell. No,
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
He's an African.
no, I'm gonna tell. He's the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
he's just
Who is
African.
this
He's
one?
just like
It's
Barack
Obama.
Obama.
oh.
Of course, you see
No.
the
Yeah.
Obama. Barack
Obama?
no.
yeah.
Not Obama.
He's Obama. He's Obama.
Yeah.
It's Obama. Wow.
The ex-president of United States.
I know from
Yeah.
his nose.
Who is this one?
Walid.
Walid. Sir Walid.
Mr. Walid,
Yeah,
Azizi.
yeah,
Mr.
he's
Walid.
Yes.
Walid Azizi. Who is this one?
It's Mr. Ilyas Sharif.
No, Salman Khan.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Yes,
Shah Rukh Khan. No.
No,
Who's-
he's Salman Khan.
Yeah, he's of course
Yeah, Salman
Khan. Yeah. Who is this one?
Naqib Sarwary.
Naqib
No, he's
Sarwary.
not
No,
Sarwary.
he's not.
That might be you.
No, he's not me.
Omar.
Not Omar.
He's a boy.
Just guess. Just think a little bit and then.
Oh,
He's son of his
Time.
father.
No, he's not. So,
Might be Harun.
not Harun even. So, let me tell you something a little bit, give you a
he's
hand.
Donald Trump.
He's one of, yeah, I'm gonna tell. He's Ahmad Zahir.
President.
No way.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, he's
Really?
Ahmad Zahir.
Zahir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is this one?
He's not just like Ahmad.
Who is this one?
Maybe Ashraf Ghani.
Not, no, Ashraf
No.
Ghani. Not. He's not Ashraf Ghani.
Abdullah.
No.
No,
He's
not
you, maybe.
Abdullah. No, he's
President
not
Hamid
me.
Karzai.
Karzai.
Not Karzai even. He's not Karzai.
Please give us some hint.
Give you a hand. He's a president of a country, so I don't want to tell the country. Just guess.
Oh, gee, he's now a president.
Yeah.
Now he's president.
Abdullah.
American country or Asian or European.
Afghanistan.
I don't want to give you that specific information, but I can tell you that nowadays he's
Trump?
on the news very much.
Trump?
No,
Maybe he's the Pakistan president.
no, he's not. No, he's the president, not Zulmay Khalilzad.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell. So he's the president of no,
Khamenei?
no, no,
Rouhani?
not. Close. I'm gonna tell. He's the president of Turkey, and he's Erdogan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Now he's
who is this one? He's
Trump. Who is he?
no. Who is
No,
this
he's
one?
not
This
Trump.
one. This one. The I
Walid?
think it's the right one.
No,
The
no.
taller one.
Isn't
I think Sir Walid.
No.
not valid. I think that's you.
You think
You
that's
have,
me?
yes.
No, that's not me.
Someone says Clinton.
Maybe.
Let me give you a hand. His father was prime minister of a country.
What the
His
hunt?
father was.
He's the daughter of that father. He's a boy.
So
Is the girl
let
of
me
that
tell you,
father. What's that?
he's the prime minister of Canada,
No.
Justin Trudeau.
Oh yeah.
Son of a-
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is this one?
Who?
Oh. Yeah.
I think you.
Who is this person? You can write your
He's a
question.
president. I can guess he's a president now.
Oh, Abdullah. He might be
Abdullah.
Abdullah.
No, he's not Abdullah.
Is
Of
you?
course, he's not Abdullah.
No, he's not Abdullah.
He is from Afghanistan? Yes.
I think he's from Afghanistan. Yeah, he's from Afghanistan.
Abdullah Saleh?
Yeah, Turiolai Amiri. Very good guess. He's me.
Oh.
Wow.
2004. We don't call that fat. We call that cute.
Wow.
Yeah. So let me show you another picture. That is 2004. It is. I think it's
The
cowboy.
other pictures really match to you, but
So,
this picture doesn't match.
Who is this one?
Oh. It's you
Omar.
again.
Omar.
Yeah,
Omar
he's
Malikiar.
Omar.
Yeah, it's Omar Malikiar.
Omar Malikiar. During a summer camp in India, he was very young.
Yeah.
He feels he's so strong. He feels he's so strong that way.
Looks like, but I don't know.
And maybe he thinks that he's so
champion.
strong. That's why he's doing this.
Yeah, I think we are done with that.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I think it's enough.
Right then,
There is no more picture.
Yeah.
thank you, Ilyas John, for doing this.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Wali.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
welcome. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
enjoy
Goodbye
your
for
day.
now.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Meaning, so I can.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your assignment. Some of you send your assignment. I really appreciate. I'm looking forward for everyone to send through the email. Best of luck. If you have any question, you can ask us. Enjoy your day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank
nice
you so
time.
much.
Now, do you see my screen?
We do.
Yeah.
Sir, again, we can't hear your voice. Can you speak louder, please?
Then let me stop my video so I can speak louder. How's that now?
Now, great. Good.
So everyone hears me right now, yeah?
Yeah.
Just a little bit louder, please.
A bit louder. This is the maximum volume that I can speak. I'm sorry, but I hope you can hear me now. Is that okay?
That is right.
Yes.
That is right.
Okay. Yeah,
Mr.
That
Aziz.
is okay.
Okay, thank you. So yesterday we talked in general how to write an essay. Now today, because most of you asked about statement of purpose or a motivation letter, or sometimes people call it interest statement. We're going to talk about that. I promised with you that I had to send you a sample or two sample of SOP by yesterday evening. My apologies for the lateness. I've got some business to do, so I sent that, I think, yesterday late at night. I hope you have received that. I think it was 4 o'clock here or something that I received that for you. I sent that for you. So did you receive the sample? There was one sample that was
yes,
written.
sir. We received. I have a question. You must do it and submit it again, or it was just for us to ourselves and work with ourselves with this statement.
It is just for yourself. It's just like a sample that you can look at that and see how you can write your own statement of purpose. Okay, don't copy paste that statement of purpose because you're gonna screw me. So because that's my essay that I have written back in 2017. Oh, okay.
Sorry, sir, I didn't receive the email.
You didn't receive that email. What's your name?
My name is Zamila Sharifi, but my email is Tabassum Sharifi.
I think I send it to you too. Can you please check if you haven't received? So I will send it to you maybe after the session.
Okay.
Yeah. Now about SOP. Now, the first thing that you have to remember when you're writing a statement of purpose for a university or for a program is that who will read your SOP? Who's your audience? This is not only with essay writing, but it comes something important whenever you give a speech, whenever you talk with an important person, when you're doing an interview. You always have to know who's your audience, who you're talking with, who's reading your essay, okay? So now, who's your audience? When you apply to university, of course, the audience is the admission committee. So remember that the admission committee, the application can be quite random, or you can be lucky or unlucky, okay? Often people get depressed when they're being rejected from a university, but believe me, the decisions that are being made by a university or admission committee, it's often very random. It doesn't always ensure that who deserves will receive what they deserve, okay? At the same time, knowing your audience allows you that you prepare yourself in a way that you can answer the question that they will ask you, okay? So knowing the audience when you're writing an SOP is really important. If you're applying for if you're applying for a program, for a university, please remember who are the people who are gonna read your SOP. And answer the question. What does that mean? We have this general mistake. This is not only with Afghans, but I've seen this with most of students, even at AUCA, where people just want to fill the paper, just write something. It's not always necessary that you write long, but extra point additional stuff that are not really answering the question. I rather write a 200-word essay rather than 500-word essay that answers the question exactly to the point and precise. Okay, so make sure that you do not put anything that's not relevant to the question that have been asked from you. So make yourself clear that you answer the question, not talking out of the topic. Okay, that's really something important. This is just a general tip. We will come back to the structure of how to write an SOP. Okay. Now, one of the main things that you have to mention in your SOP is what have you done before. You have to show yourself give detail about yourself, that who you are as a person and what have you done so far. Yeah. You have to share about your academic background if you're applying to a university. Now, it's not only that I've seen this in most of SOPs, which I have checked for students, that they just put information about their background, but there is no relevance, there is no connectivity with what they're discussing after that. You put your background, that what you have done, but you have to also connect it with your specific field. Yeah. So if you want to study ICP, which means politics at AUCA. So if you want to study politics, let's say in any university, if you want to study politics at AUCA, you have to explain your background in such a way that is connected with your field, with your major that you plan to study. Now, if it's not connected, cut it out, okay? I've seen this with most of students. The other thing with most Afghan students do when they apply to university, they always start talking about their tough background. I've done this, I've experienced this bad memories, I've gone through these bad events. Now remember, those are not the things that they want to hear from you. But I know why most Afghan students do that, because they want the committee to sympathize with them. Now that's the way that you can play with the admission committee, but there's also a risk. Most of the admission committee who are reading that, they're not going to be subjective. They're not going to look at how a poor background you had, but they will just look at how you answer the question. There will be only sometimes that they will sympathize with you and say, oh, this guy has been through a really tough time, a really tough life, so let's get him in. Now, remember, this is only sometime that will happen, but usually the admission committee will just look at how you answer the question. They don't care about what tough life, what difficult events have you gone through. So please, I've seen this with most of Afghan students, as I said. Most of AUCA students, like especially one of them, which is my favorite professor, he told me that this is a thing which often happened with Afghans, which is not really lovely. But I understand that we have gone through this bad experience, but if you can connect that bad experience with what you are going to do in the future, that makes sense. But if you just put it there without any kind of relevance and connectivity with what you discuss later, that doesn't really look nice, okay? So talk about your background with relevance to the essay and to the question. What is your area of interest and why do you study that? So if you claim that you want to study computer science, please make it clear why. This why question is really important when it comes to essay writing. You can't just make a claim without explaining why you believe so, okay? If you want to study computer science, explain why you want to study computer science. Talk about your background, talk about your future plans, that how you would love to study that specific field, okay? So that the committee believe you, that you really love this field, that this is something really for you. Relate that to your background, as I said, and then say how you will make plan. What are your plans after you graduate from that specific field? Why this university? There are thousands of universities. This is the important question that the university want to ask you, that why us? Why do you want to come here, not another university? Now, this is also an important question because it gives to the university a glance that you really know about them, that you have searched about them, that you are really interested. Yeah, it's not that you just hear the name of the university and you fill an application, you send them a statement of purpose and you apply. Try to show that you know different stuff about it. Now, for example, if you apply to, let's say, which university, if you apply to Oxford and you want to study literature, you can tell to them that I want to study in Oxford because as far as I know, Oxford has been known as the top university in English literature, okay? Oxford in this field is the top. And I know some professors which they have taught me and they've studied in Oxford. Now I have an experience of talking and conversing with Oxford alumni, and that's why I believe Oxford is a nice place for me to study English literature. You can also talk about the Oxford Library. You can say that I'm a kind of person who's always reading books and who is interested in exploring further the literature and literary works. So you can say that Oxford has got a big library with a lot amount of resources which will help me throughout my career, throughout my 4 year of study as an undergraduate, or I don't know if you apply for masters. So try to use the things that you know about the university in your essay to show them that you actually search about them, you're actually interested, and you really want to study there. It's not that I want to study in Oxford because it's a lovely place and I love it. That doesn't really help, okay? Try to give them reasons that, what do you know about it? Yeah, I hope that helps. Now, you also have to talk about how you will contribute to the university. If you have a plan of making a football team, you can say that, oh, I know that when I'm applying to American University in Lebanon, because I heard that there are a lot of sport and activities going on in the university. And my plan is that I will make a football team when I get into this university. By this football team, I will not only make students be active in sport, but I will have the chance to expand my network and have people around me to communicate and make the environment more friendly in the campus. Yeah. So this is just an example that how you can make your argument when you're talking about why this university. So talk about how you can contribute to the university, and also talk about how the university benefits you. You can talk, for example, that I'm selecting this university because I'm aware that this university offer a whole amount of research guidelines, and it also has an amazing research center. So if you name the research center, that's even wonderful. Yeah. So it has a research center, it has an academic writing center, which I really love to expand to expand as a researcher in the future. That's why this university really fits me. And that is the reason that I want to apply here, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's about the university. Now, you also have to explain in the statement of purpose, what are your future goals? What do you want to do? Because mostly when universities accept students, they want them to be someone that they do something in the future. Yeah, they shouldn't stop after just graduating from university. So they want someone to say that, okay, after graduating from this university that I'm applying now, I have the plan of studying masters in this university. I have the plan of working in this place. I have the plan of creating this type of project to show them that I really have plans and things to do for my future life. Yeah. So make your goals specific. Don't say that I want to be the president of Afghanistan when I graduate from AUCA. This is what a friend of us said, actually. I think Naqib knows him well. I know him very little, but one of my professors said that he actually came in the class in the first year at AUCA and said, I want to be the president of Afghanistan in the next 10 years. Now, that is not a very unrealistic plan, I would say. That is not so, but it looks a bit fancy, yeah? Now, why would you not only start with your specific plans and goals and then go to the ones which needs maximum effort, yeah? So try to make your goals very specific and achievable. It should be something that people believe that you really can reach that. It shouldn't be something that, okay, I'm from Afghanistan, I want to be the president of the United States. That is something really unrealistic, okay? So don't try to make goals that are really big and it looks like a dream. Avoid cliches, yeah? By cliches, I mean, most people have this thing from Afghanistan, especially when they say in the application that I want to serve in Afghanistan. If you ask everyone in Afghanistan, they say, I want to serve to this country. Now, good, lovely. You want to serve to your people, you want to serve and assist your community. Good, please explain how, yeah? It's not always, serving is not always through working in the government, which often Afghan people mention in the application. I want to work in the ministry of blah, blah, blah. I want to be an ambassador in the United States. I want to be, I don't know, the governor of Kabul city. This is not the only way that you can help out and you can serve your country. Not only through government, not only being in the parliament. So look at what you're studying and then make your goal clear. I've seen people, they, for example, study computer science, but when you look at their essay that they apply for masters, let's say, they usually say that I want to go to Afghanistan and work in this governmental office, which doesn't quite make sense. Now, computer science is a field that you can do a lot of whole work rather than just working in a government office, yeah? So try to avoid these cliches of serving the people. You can say that, but if you explain them well, you can say that I want to help and I want to assist my country. I want to contribute to the development of Afghanistan. Explain how, and make it more not a really fancy goal. Confident but not arrogant. I think that's clear. Yeah, you should be confident with your goal, but you shouldn't say that I will achieve it for sure, because you never know about the future. Okay, don't try to show yourself overconfident. Be confident but not overconfident and say that I will achieve it, because this life is all about random events. You don't know if what you plan really happens or not. The style. I usually care about the style when it comes to writing, but most people don't. So this is only probably for me, but I will explain it for you too. Be organized. Be sure to answer all questions asked. Now remember about this question. Often when you apply to university, they have a question, but sometimes there is no question. They just ask you write a statement of purpose or write a motivation letter, in which you will not have a question, right? So how you tackle with them? You just follow the thing that I told you. Talk about your background first. Talk about what do you want to study and why. Second, the third one, you say about why you want to study in this specific university. And the fourth one, you explain what are your plans, what are your goals for the future. These are the four things that you can always upload when they ask you for a statement of purpose or for an interest statement. Yeah. If you don't even have a question, you can explain these. But again, it also depends on where you apply, who's your audience again, which university is that. So if a university really loves extracurricular and social services, try to put a lot of extracurricular activities that you have done. If a university loves academics, try to put something that maybe you have written an article, you've done research, you've read books and you have written book reviews. If that's a really academic university, then put academic stuff. If that's a really university which is more involved in social activities and stuff like that, so try to put your activities that you have done in the past. But if you have a question, you just have to answer the question. Yeah. If you don't have a question, you follow the structure that I told you. Use examples where needed. Be concise. By that I mean, please, not long sentences. If you want the people to understand you and make sense of your writing, no long sentences. 1 to 2 pages maximum, if they don't give you a word limit. Now, sometimes when you apply to university, they will not give you a word limit. Like they will just say, write a motivation letter. But sometimes they will ask you to write a motivation letter or statement of purpose in 1,000 words, not more than 1,000, or not more than 500 words. With those ones that you have, someone, do you ask me any question? I have to read the chat bar, my apologies. I'll come to the chat bar questions after, okay? Now, what I was talking about the limitation of word. If they're not asking you for word limit, if they just tell you to write something, please, again, don't write more than 1,000, even if they don't give you a word limitation. But sometimes you can actually, because they have no argument. If they say to you that you have written a really long one, you can say, well, you didn't have a word limitation, so I wrote as much as I could. Yeah. So if that's what I did when I was applying to an exchange in Germany, I wrote 1,400 motivation letter, and then it was a long one. And my professor said that you have written a really long one. You could make it short. I said, yeah, but they didn't have a word limitation, so I just did what I wanted to do. But that's a smart way that you can play with that. You can write short or long if you want to, because they never can blame you. They never can say that, oh, it's long or short, because you can say that actually you didn't give me a word limitation, so I could just play with it around and do what I wanted to do. But if they give you a word limit, please don't exceed that, okay? They will not even read it sometimes. If you exceed the word limit, they will not even read your essay. Be clear. Don't assume that the reader understands you. Now, this is a big problem with most of us, that when we write something, this is actually the difficulty in writing, the most difficult thing. When you write something, you believe that this is really easy to understand and I can understand it, but actually the person who's reading it probably wouldn't understand that. So don't assume yourself as a reader that you read your own essay and you assume that it's really understandable. So what is the way out? What is the solution for this? The solution is that when you write your essay, pass it to your friend, pass it to someone who knows English and who understands, pass it to a teacher, and then ask them for feedback and comments and see if they understand what you're writing. Yeah. For example, sometimes some of my friends come to me and give their essay and they say, Walid, can you please check this essay? Because I'm working in the writing center. So they sometimes come to me, even if I'm not in the university. And then I say, okay, here's this, you have to make this clear. I think there's a problem here and blah, blah, blah. But then my friend starts to explain to me, yeah? He or she, they sometimes start to explain what they want to say. Now, what I tell to them is that, look, you can explain this to me because I can talk to you now, you're my friend, but you can't explain this to the person who's reading your essay. So write in a way that it doesn't need any explanation in person, because you can't explain anything out of that paper. You have to show yourself, you have to show your skills and ability of writing in the paper. You have to show who you are in the paper. They don't see you, they don't have your picture, they can't talk with you that you explain things. So just show whatever you have in that essay, which is a really difficult thing, but this is what you have to do. Be honest, okay? Don't talk about something that you haven't done. This is a really big case with Afghans, where we have CVs and resumes and essays full of lies, full of exaggerations. Please don't do that. If you do that, do it in a smart way. That is not detectable, okay? Not do it in a way that they see it and they say, oh, this guy is lying. Sometimes you look into an Afghan Facebook page and you see you in this company, see you in this company, see you in this company. You're like, wow, this guy is amazing. See you in different places. But when you talk to them, you can easily understand that actually it's not actually so. Maybe it's a lie. So try not to lie about your achievements, because anyway, you can't skip from an interview when you apply to university. So they will take an interview, and if they find it out, you will be rejected, and it's going to be even painful when you are being rejected in the interview for university. Yeah, I think that's the end. What is the time? Okay, we have time still. Good. Now, do you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we hear you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, your question.
Let me get the question after reading the questions which are in the chat board. Then I will ask you for questions, okay?
Okay.
First
Yes,
of all,
okay.
Halima said that I muted her. I actually muted, I think, everyone. Halima, please don't take that personal, okay? I'm sorry if you're offended, but you can talk anytime if you want. Don't say that I don't want to talk anymore. My apologies. Okay, then we come to the comments. We didn't have your voice. Can you please? Cliches. About cliches. Cliches is something that is often repeated by people, and it's something really common. Yeah. So as I said, I give an example. When people talk about their goals, they say that we want to help and contribute to our country. This is something very usual with Afghans, which they say we want to help, but they don't actually support it much. They just say, I want to study in this university and I'll come back to Afghanistan. I want to help my country because my country is really a poor country. We've gone through 40 years of war. Everyone here, they are poor, so I want to help my people. Yeah, you just say, I have a poor country, blah, 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 and I want to help them. Now, please tell me how you want to help them. Unless you explain how, that is useless if you just say, I want to help, okay? So that's what we call a cliche. So about your plans, don't make plans that are often repeated by people. So see what you really can do in the future. Be really honest and specific with your goals. Say what you really want to do in the future instead of making lies, instead of making things that are fake. So could you please give us example that we can tell them by these things I can serve the community? Now, Imran Jan, I can't tell that to you. I can give you example, right? But I can't tell how you can tell them that I serve things I can serve the community. Do you mean in the future, or do you mean how when you're talking about your background? If you're talking about the background, you share that what you have done, how you have served the community throughout the projects, throughout the things that you have done. It doesn't matter that it should be a big thing. For example, if you, at school, if you have done something, let's say, if you made a football field at your school, that's a big deal for when you apply to university. You can say to the university when you apply that I actually, I'm someone who usually want to serve to the community. I have these intentions and these passion from a very childhood. When I was at school, we didn't have a football field, and most of students in my school, they wanted to play football or basketball or something or whatever. And that's why I came with a team and with a decision, with a plan with that team to make a football field. So we made a football field at school, and after that, all students at school could play football and enjoy in their free times. Now, you could say that I have done these as a background to say that I'm someone who loves volunteering and working with people. And then if you want to study, for example, education, you can connect that like this. So as long as I want to study education, because I've seen that how schools and universities are suffering from low quality of education in Afghanistan, when I return back from this university, I have this plan of that you explain your plan of how you can help in education for Afghanistan. Okay, that's one way you can put it, but it takes time. It's not that you can find an answer or an example for that in 1 minute. You need to think about it. You need to take notes of your ideas that you have in your mind and put it in a paper, and then you write your SOP. It takes a long time. Writing an SOP, at least if you want to write an SOP at this stage, you should take at least 20 days to write. Yeah, but when you write a lot, it will get easy for you. Now, for me, if I want to write a statement of purpose, if it's not a really serious one, it will not take more than 1 week. But if it's a serious one, it will take 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But when I wrote my statement of purpose in 2017 and 2016, when I was applying to UWC, I think I wrote it in 20 days or 1 month sometimes. I had to take a lot of time editing and rewriting and deleting stuff and putting back. This is what a writer usually do. Now, okay, there's another question. Didn't say the word limit. How much should we write? Good. If they don't say the word limit, I told you, do not write more than 1,000 maximum. Do not write more than 1,000 words maximum. That's the maximum one. 1,000 word is going to be 1.5 page single space. If you do double space, it's going to be 2 pages or more than 2 pages. Okay, the other question, would you please go back to the first page? Halima is asking, okay, sure, I will go to the first page. Give me a minute. Yeah, here's the first page, Halima. Do you want to say something about it? Comment? You have a question? Do you hear me, Habiba?
Yes, I hear you. Would you please go to the second page? This is not.
Okay, this one?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Done. Okay. I don't have a question. Just I noted some, but
okay,
I could not read the last one.
Do you want me to explain this slide, or you just want?
No.
Okay. I'll send you. We will send you all the presentations from day 1 till day 6 at the end of the camp. Okay, don't worry. I'll put it in a Google Drive, and I'll send you the link of the Google Drive, so you will have access to all of these materials that we presented in the camp. So no worries about that.
Okay, good.
Sir, may I start? I'm somehow confused about the universities.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. As I see, most of the students, they applied for AUC, and they, although they want to apply for universities in New York, but the chance is really low for the students to accept them. Although, as you said, that the universities in New York or in abroad, they want the students that work like a robot, and they would be like robot, and in AUC they want students like be active, or the students who are leaders like this. So my question is, some of the field that like software engineering, it doesn't need any. Doesn't need any program or volunteer work, because if you want to study software, you can't say that I made this website. I study. Before applying for this, I studied programming or like this. So, and my question is, if you can't apply for the universities in New York, so because the chances there's no chance for us to be accepted. If they accept us, there will be visa problem. So if we can't to apply for a AUC, so the AUC, like I said, if I want to study software engineering, so how can I say that I was active and I have done a lot of volunteer work, I have done a lot of projects, but when I want to study software engineering, so there's a little bit confusing, a little bit confusing. How can we do that when we want to study software engineering and we were so active and done a lot of volunteer work? Did you get what am I saying, sir?
Yes, I got your question. Now about the first one, that the US universities, you have no chance.
Sir.
It's not true. It's not true. Said Ahmad Sadat, I'll come to your question after I answer this, okay? So, Said Ahmad John, I'll come to your question once I answer the first question. Does that seem fair to you?
No, it's the same question regarding myself.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, please stop talking. Now, about the first point that you mentioned, Fahima John, it's not really true that people don't accept you in the US. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. I've seen people who are studying in universities and friends in the US, but believe me, they don't know as much as most of Afghan students know. We Afghans, we are really underestimating ourselves.
Yeah.
I've seen
but
how
sir, I have.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I said I just searched for that. I've talked teachers, American teachers, and they said that in the university, like Bard College, there's a one Afghan girl that is studying in the US, and that's really not makes sense that we can. Also, the girl was really like generous, and she was really one that. The scholarship, and also they said that it's impossible somehow. If you want to apply, you must do something really special and hard, not focus or anything else. You just must focus on that scholarship, on that university.
I got it. Let me explain. Now, look, it is not always important that you should have done something special, something unique. That's not actually true. You just have to explain in a way yourself that even if you haven't done something, you should show that you will do something in the future. So it's all about how you present yourself in your statement, yeah? So try to present yourself in a way that even if you haven't done something, you still have plans to do something. It's not necessary always that you should have done something special. That's not actually true. As I told you, most of the people which I've seen in Kyrgyzstan, they are not talented as any Afghans that I've seen in Afghanistan. But they apply to universities in the UK, they apply in the US, and they go and they get accepted there. So we Afghans, we sometimes underestimate ourselves that we can't study in the US or in the UK or in the European countries. Just apply. It needs a bit more effort, more work, more time, and more pain. By pain, I mean you probably will be rejected 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but you will get accepted, yeah? So try to, if you apply, for example, for 5, 6 universities, you will at least will be accepted in one of them. Scholarship thing is difficult, I understand. Getting a scholarship in the European countries, especially in the UK, is really difficult, it's really tough. But in the US, I wouldn't say it's much difficult because most of US universities who are middle level, like mid-level, not very high level, they offer scholarship to international students. So just search and find out scholarships that fit you, find a university that fit you and apply. Don't worry about that this is a US university and they will not accept me. As I told you, they really sympathize with those countries who are coming from South Asia, from poor countries. So we have a lot of chance, we have funds, but we just have to have this belief in ourselves that we will be accepted. Coming to your second question, US, about the software thing and activities, how I can, that's a good point. I mean, how you can explain, you want to study software, but you haven't done any activity. Even if you have done activities, how do you connect it with software? Good. Now, do not talk about the activities that is not connected to software. Just talk about what happened to this. Just talk about those things that made you interested to study software. So think with yourself that what makes you to make this decision of studying software engineering. Now, what are the things? You probably will talk about someone who know from your relative, from your friend, who studies software engineering or computer science, and how he or she is doing with his job or with her job really motivates you to apply for software and be a person like him or like her. So this is just an example that I just told you, but you can search about your own motivation, that what motivated you, what made you to make a decision to study software. If you study software, of course, I wouldn't advise you to talk about projects, volunteerism or stuff like that. You can just talk about what made you to make a decision to study this field and what will you do in the future studying this field. So yeah, that's about that question. Let me get the question from the chat bar because it's important to add.
Also, sir, I think if there's a chance to, I think when you be accepted by an AUC, when you finish the AMG, you can apply for any other universities abroad in New York or like this. I think it will be more easy. Your English would be improved and you would have a lot of experience at AUC. Then you can go to any other university that you want.
Okay. Right. Now let me get the question from the chat bar. It's important to add about job in the statement of purpose. To Alajan, it's not important. This question of important or not is the question that you have to ask when you're writing. So if you think adding the job who helps with your statement, add it. If it doesn't, then don't. Now, if it's important or not, you have to see that how you connect it. If you connect it well, and if you think that's necessary to be there, it should be there. If it's not necessary, cut it out. How to make a good hook. How to write a motivational hook. Well, about hook one, again, I think I explained about this yesterday, but it's not necessary to always have a hook. When you apply to a university where they're asking for application fee, you don't need a hook, because if they're asking for the fee, it means that the people who are reading your application, they're being paid. If they're being paid, they have to read your application. So you don't need a hook. They will read your essay even if it's really boring and not interesting. But sometimes when you apply to a university that you know about it, that they don't ask for application fee, and you probably ask about from other people that do you need to put something interesting that attract the reader, then you do it, yeah? So it also depends on where do you apply, who's your audience. What is the next question? You may think your volunteer was your interest, right? Husna, good point.
Sir, I have a question.
Can I back to you after just reading the chat bar, Zamira John? Give me a minute. For instance,
okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, thank you. For instance, you may say that your keenness toward that specific field is developed. Okay, that's only a comment. I thought it's a question. Now go ahead, Zamira John. What was your question? Then I will come back to Habiba.
Okay, I have a question. A scholarship or like TOEFL IBT exam, like of these things, when like of this way when we go to an abroad to apply or the university, someone or I heard the people say when you are speaking you must to say speak like a hook or like an essay, like when you want to speak in a reply to or apply a university, you must to say first of all a hook. After that you want to say first, second, third. Is it true? And the second question is my TOEFL IBT exams also a scholarship, but those scholarships are between or different from TOEFL IBT. Those are have any supporter? Is it done? It's done.
Zamira John, about the thing, your first question that do we have to write a hook and first, second body, third one, first body, second body, third body. That's what we discussed yesterday. So what I would advise you to do is to look in the recording that I will send you after the meeting. So you can watch the recording from yesterday's session and you will have your answer for that, okay? Now, for the second question, can you repeat that because I couldn't get it quite?
Can you repeat it again? I didn't take your question.
For the first question about the essay, if you have to write a hook, I told you a hook is not always a must. Just you have to find out if it's necessary, you will write. If it's not necessary, you will not write. And about the writing structure.
No, I know from right.
Can you please type your questions, Zamira Jan?
Sorry for
We can't hear you.
I know in writing, but in speaking, I said.
Type your question, please. Please type your question because we can't hear you. Yeah.
Walid Jan, do you have my voice?
Yes, I have. What's your question? We have only, I will take only two other questions. This one and
do I have to ask a question?
If you have a question, yes. If you don't have a question, then
okay, I'll ask my question. Yeah. Okay, as you talk to the girl, I forgot her name, Fahima, yes, that you don't have
Ahmad,
to say
John,
that.
can you please type your question? I can't hear you.
You have done something
Please,
related to
Saeed Ahmad, can you please type your question?
Field that you want to study in the future.
Please type your question. Everyone else, if you have any question, just type it. Okay, because the internet is very bad. So I would like all of you to type your question instead of talking. Yeah, just type your questions in the chat bar. Habiba is raising her hand. Please type your question too. Turalaya Miri, please type your question in the chat bar. I will just read it and I will answer your question. So at the moment, I see the internet is very bad, so no one is allowed to talk because we are also running out of time. So just type your question and I will answer your question. The other thing I would say, okay, because we're running out of time, if you have more questions, okay, what about TOEFL? Does it guarantee your acceptance? No, Habiba John, it doesn't guarantee your acceptance. TOEFL is only a requirement that allows you to apply to a university. For example, one requirement is graduating a diploma from high school when you apply to a university. So they ask you that you should have been graduated from high school. You should have your diploma. So if you don't have a diploma, you can't apply. The same with TOEFL. Most universities, they ask for TOEFL because without that, you even can't apply. TOEFL has nothing to do with your acceptance. It doesn't do any help. Yeah. I've currently completed my statement of purpose, so can I send that to you for feedbacks? So the assignment for tomorrow, so Turialajan, that will answer your question. You have an assignment for tomorrow, for the day tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, because the day after tomorrow, I will give you feedback. So send me a statement of purpose, write about the university that you love to, okay? I will write a guideline after today's sessions, and I will send it to your emails that you have to write a statement of purpose, looking in the samples that I sent you last night, and also using from the presentation that you learned today, write a statement of purpose and send it back to me by tomorrow. So I will give you feedback and will return it back for you on Friday, not Friday, Thursday. Yeah, that's about that, Turialajan. So you can send your statement after I give you the guidelines. So if they ask you to write 500 words and then you finish it in 200 words, yes, that's okay. As long as you answer the question in 200 words, that's totally fine. But if they ask you to write 500 words, it means that you should answer it that you can answer that in 200 words. So try to see if you can answer, if you can manage it in 200 words, it's more than okay. Why not? Be concise means don't give extra information. Be short, okay? I think that's the end of the session. Now, if you have more questions, please reach the mentors in your chat groups. Your mentors will help you with a question regarding to this. Or if you have any questions specifically to me, you have the Camp Afghanistan email, send it to that email, I will answer you. Or if you want my personal email, I will also send it after the session, yeah? Now, take 5 minutes break. I'll play music for you, take a walk and come back, and then you will have a session with Seemin, Naeemi. I hope everyone is happy.
Okay, Mr. Azizi, thank you.
Thanks to you.
Okay, thank you, Master.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah. So I will play music for you, take 5 minutes.
Is everyone back?
Yes, Miss. Hello, Miss Seemin.
Hello.
Yes, Miss.
Hello. I'm
Hello,
back.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hello, Miss Seemin.
Hello. Okay, we will quick play a game first.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I want you all go in the website www.kahoot.it.
Should we go there right now?
Yeah.
What's Miss?
www.kahoot.it.
Please write it, madam, because your voice is not. We can hear you.
I will write in chat. Okay. Something like this.
Should you write this pin? The pin on this screen?
Yes, yes. This is the pin. 64.
Just a minute, man.
One person joined. Fahima. Here is only Fahima. Other. Yeah, it needs a pin. Write the pin. Here is, see the screen. 64.
Yes, I am in, ma'am.
Okay, 3 players. Okay, 4 players. Others joined? Could you join?
No.
Here.
Hello,
It should
dear
be
Seemin.
something like this.
Miss.
Okay, go to www.kaho.it.
In Google.
www.kaho.it. Okay. When you go there, they ask for a PIN. The PIN code is 64 36 72.
Could you please repeat the pin?
64 36 72. Okay, here is 4 players. How many people we have? How many participants are there? Okay, 5 players. Players, yes, good. You can play from your laptop, yes, it doesn't matter. From your laptop or from your phone, it's fine. Okay, Nafis, do you have the video of the Zoom then? Because you have to see the screen to answer the questions. If you don't have, it's fine. It's just for fun. Okay, 7 players, 8 players. Who left? Please don't leave. Because if I start, then you will remain. Okay, guys.
Please mute yourself if you're not talking, okay? Mute yourself. Whenever you want to talk, just raise your hand and then unmute
Okay,
yourself.
others, are you willing to join, or you? I mean, you can or you can't. If you can't, it's fine. We can skip.
Miss, we can't.
Okay. You can't?
No, madam. I'm ready. I'm waiting to madam.
Okay. How about others? Should we start? Okay. When you join, don't leave, okay? Don't leave the game. Okay, those who...
Okay, then the question, if the question was hard, we will leave. We will leave if the question was...
Wait a minute, madam. I'm waiting. Wait a minute.
Okay, we have 8 players. We will start. Those who have only one browser, Zoom and at the same time Kahoot, then you should, I think you cannot play because you have to have two screens. You have to see the question and you have to answer in another screen. So we will start with 8 players. Let's see. Okay, 9 players. Then let's see what happens. Okay, ready? Let's go. Okay, how many bones does an adult human have? Okay. Okay, for now, B is in lead. Okay, what's the name given to a group of monkeys?
Troop. Number
Just,
third.
just do with your finger, don't speak, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, what's the body system involving your heart and blood? Okay, Husna is on fire. What is the colored part of your eye called?
I'm also ready for presentation. This is brave.
Yes, I'm here. Let's start, guys, to present your presentation. I will present the last. Yeah, I will present. I'm gonna be the last presenter. Okay.
Are you talking to
What?
me? Because we are playing game.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I will.
Okay, what's the main gas found in the air we breathe? Okay, let's see. Okay, Husna is first, B is second. Okay, name the tallest mountain on Earth measured from the peak to the base. Okay, Husna is leading still. Okay, name the second biggest planet in our solar system. Okay, still, Husna is leading.
Oh, all of them incorrect.
Okay, brimstone is another name of which element? Three, two, one.
I'm sure the participants are randomly clicking something.
Yes, I know this question.
Yeah, name the largest animal currently living on this planet. Okay. 8 people. We have 9 answers.
Yes, yes, yes. I answered correctly.
Yeah. How many countries have a name starting with A? Afghanistan. Okay. Now, Nick is true or false? All people are colorblind when they are born. Is it true? False. Two, three, two, one. Okay, so that it's true. I didn't know. Okay, now Imran is leading. This is the only food that will never go mold free. McDonald's and bananas.
McDonald's.
Maybe possible. Okay, it's honey. Okay. Hey guys, the opposite side of a dice add up to this number. Whose math is 6, 7, 12, 9. Mm, 36. Okay. Which of these films are the highest grossing movies of 2015? I have no idea of movies. Star Wars, Avengers, Jurassic World, William. It's Jurassic World. Okay. I guess we should end this quiz, okay? Because we have another short quiz regarding what we will study today. So let it. Okay. Nick, Fahima, and the first one is Husna. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Husna.
Okay. Guys, if you were talking to someone or you were on the phone, we're not playing game, please now come because we are about to start. Okay, since we have done our warm-up activity yesterday, I told you all to have journal for yourself. I hope you have already done it. So
yes, I wrote that.
Yes, that's great because keeping journal is it's good. It's very important. Okay, guys. Today we will know how this self-awareness is important in leadership. Okay, because as we read the application, most of you had written that we want to learn about leadership, we want to learn about study abroad, about writing skills, and opportunities abroad. So we thought that starting this skill of leadership from your own self, which is self-awareness, is the first step which is important toward leadership. So one of the very fundamental of leadership is self-awareness. Self-awareness, mostly when someone asks, or most of the people, they think that when you are talking about leader, so you mean someone who is in charge, or you mean that someone who has the characteristic of a, I can say characteristics of a motivator, someone who tells you something to do. But when we think very deeply, the first important point about a true leadership or a true leader is self-awareness. A leader should know all the essential points or all the essential qualities, first of all, about himself or herself. Then he or she can be a truly leader. This self-awareness is looking deep inside your own self, your inner thoughts, your inner emotions, or the ability to react to those emotions and to those feelings that you have. All the abilities such as strength, weaknesses, emotions that triggers mental status, beliefs, desire, and personality that lies deep inside you, you have to know about them because almost every study shows that a true leader is someone who first of all knows about himself or herself, then he can serve as a true leader. Okay, why it's so important to know to have this skill about the self-awareness? Because without self-awareness, all leaders or great leaders, they seem a bit arrogant. They seem that they are selfish. And they do only those. Only those things that which he might seem in his own interest, not in the interest of his people or nation. Self-awareness is also not only essential in being one true leader, but also in businesses, because business is also part of being a true leader. And also while you're presenting something, just take an example of someone who works in marketing or who works in sales. If he doesn't know that if he is doing something wrong or he's presenting something which he gets negative feedback, then if he doesn't know about his emotions, that how will he react, he cannot be, he may lose his job. Or just take an example of a person who is presenting. If he or she doesn't know about the strength and his weaknesses, which points he or she needs to work very well to not feel less confident, which points he should work more, then you know that those strengths and weaknesses that the person holds, if he doesn't know about himself, he cannot also be a good person who talks in public or present very with confidence. So this self-awareness is important, not only knowing your emotion, but also knowing how you will react. Because you know, some people are very silent. Some people are like, okay, I'm very chill, I don't react too fast, or I don't react very rudely. But when it comes to other any kind of certain situation, then his inner emotion just blast, and he starts blaming everyone, saying negative and bad words to other people around him. It's important because self-awareness helps you to be adaptable. When you are in one environment and moving towards another environment, you become you become adaptable, not only saying that, okay, this is the way I am and I cannot change myself, but you can change yourself, but you can take responsibilities. If you know really what you are, what your weaknesses points are, and what are your strong points. And also, if you know yourself very well, it boosts your confidence. Some people, they they cannot talk in public very confident. They just keep shy in a group while they are surrounded with a group of people. They think that they know less than the people around them, while it can be on the another side. Maybe he knows more than the people around him, but he doesn't know his abilities. He doesn't know about his potentials that he have inside him, but he just doesn't want to take time to think and to open himself and know more about himself. So here I want to say some tips for self-awareness, how to develop this self-awareness skill. First of all, keep an open mind. Be very open with the people around you. Always try to, everyone has got their own personal thoughts, but my personal thought is that when you meet new people, try to be very open instead of having a conservative mind. Try to not judge people very quickly, but instead try to learn about them and about their background, to which background, to which history, not past, they belong, which kind of, the university they have studied, or since you're in the process of learning, you can be friends with those people who are very close to your own interest. You want to go to university, try to be friends, try to be connected to the people who are already in university, who are studying abroad, or who have who are open-minded while you are living in a conservative society. Okay, be very mindful to your strengths and weaknesses. Know all your strengths and weaknesses and use those both strengths and weaknesses for yourself, not against yourself. Everyone has got weaknesses, but it depends how they use and how they turn those weaknesses into their strong points. Like being shy is not a weakness, being introverted is not a weakness, but you can use that in shyness or being introverted in your strength. Some people find it very difficult to be open to other people, to start a conversation, to be friends, but you're not the only one. Like most of the people are like that. I myself, I don't know still, I might be still a little bit, but I used to be very shy and very close to people. I was not openly being friend with other, but now, with the passage of time, everyone changes, so you can change your habits too. Stay focused. By stay focused, I mean that try to avoid all the distractions that causes you, especially like social media, especially smartphones. When you stay focused for some hours and you are committed to that, you know yourself very well. Like some people, they start working for 10 minutes and check social media for 20 minutes, which can be a negative point with yourself. If you're working for a project, if you're working for a proposal, if you're working for a statement of purpose, then what you can do, you can just silence your phone and put it somewhere, work or write the bullet points until the time that you say that, okay, I'm tired and I need a break. People are different. Some people, their limit is 40 minutes. Some people, they can work for hours. You have to know your own limit for how many hours you can work without being distracted. Set boundaries. It's not like you just keep yourself locked to somewhere, but it's like you have your own special place. I mean, you have your own privacy. When it's the time to say no, you say no. And while you're with very respect and welcoming thoughts, you keep your privacy, but you also you try to develop this habit that when you want to say no, then say no. If your friends, if you're working on a statement of purpose and your friends say, hey, let's go out, then you say that, well, I really want to go out with you, but I'm sorry, I can't because I have to finish my task. Also, know your emotional triggers. Some people, they get angry very well, I mean, very soon, and they just, and even they can't bear as very small, I mean, a little joke or anything. They have very aggressive emotion, but you should know that which kind of emotion you have or which kind of emotion that triggers you. Is it something that when someone talks with you and you get motivated, oh yes, I should do this, I should do that, I should maybe set my plans. But there are some people like Walid, he was saying that these motivational books and other stuff, that doesn't work for me. While there are some other people who, if they read motivational books and they watch motivational videos, they get they know, yes, I should do something. They become very motivated and they start working on that. Embrace your intuition. Okay, what I mean by embrace your intuition, there are times that you feel, yes, maybe I should do this. This is better. Then with the try to develop your intuition. When you think that yes, I should do this, just do it. I mean, your intuition never lies. And when there are times that intuition triggers you and says that, oh, there is a danger and you shouldn't do that. Just believe your intuition and practice your intuition. Also, practice self-discipline. Self-discipline differs from person to person. Some people, I mean, it's their own choice how they schedule their day, how they spend their morning, how they spend their afternoon, and how they spend their evening. So it is your own personal choice how you do, but try to be productive. Try to try to at least do the task that you will write before, if not all of them, but try to do the main one. Also, whatever reaps you up and whatever drains you down. So I kind of talked about it. Whatever motivates you and whatever like just destroys your day, just keep off the things that drains you down. Sometimes it's a good point, but sometimes it just destroys your days. What past feedbacks you have received? Some people regarding their project, regarding any task that they are doing, they may have received very negative feedbacks, but while improving and working more, they have developed. Like you should compare that what past feedbacks you have received and until now how much you have worked. Also, journal. Try to keep a journal. As I said yesterday, it was one of the main idea that yesterday I told you that keep journal and do journal every day. Counseling. Counseling is not only like seeing a therapist or a psychologist. Counseling can be just a small talk with your friend. Counseling can be in a term of talking with someone in your family member who you like mostly openly talk, who you share your every feelings. So counseling is also very important. And there are some families who are very like they don't mostly share their ideas with each other. And when observe, like when psychiatrists they observe those people, they are not mentally very well. Why? Because they lack self-awareness and they lack self-esteem. This is one of the families who mostly talk and who mostly share their feelings with each other. They have very connected feelings with each other. Also, ask when you ask with feedbacks, try to ask from people who you trust. Like there are many, like you might have many, you can say, secrets that you don't want to ask or share with other people, but only share with those whom you trust the most. Okay, why when we are talking self-awareness, why actually even self-awareness matters? Self-awareness matters because you are the person, if you know about yourself very well, you're the person who influence others. It doesn't mean that you influence a nation or even people, a lot of people are around you, but you're the one who can influence your family. You can be the one who can influence your siblings towards if you're the eldest siblings, you can even influence your smaller siblings. You even can talk what are their future goals, anything. Also, you can be the one monitoring your statement and action on others, other people who are around you, and how those people can be affected regarding your if you know yourself very well, and how those people who are seeking any kind of guidance and how they can improve their outcome, their result. Since you are being a leader, you will be in a positional power. What I mean by positional power is that if someone is a little bit upper than you in any kind of term, like then you feel like he or she can be a leader. So you have respect towards that person. And when you have this sense of receiving respect, you feel that you have to know about yourself very well, about your own feelings, about your own emotion. And that's when you receive respect, and people, if there is anyone who is in your level, like just imagine your classmates, since they are in your level, you think them as a friend, but while you are thinking your professor or teacher, so you have a higher level, you have respect for her or him. So also another important point is that when you know about yourself very well, you have the sense of self-awareness, you know your own goals, your values, what values you follow. Just imagine, like, you are for a term, for one semester you are given the position of being an academic and I would say professor or an academic maybe director. How would you react? First, you would have the sense of responsibility. You would try to be very productive. You would try to do very well and use this chance as being or receiving an advanced placement. But opposite can also happen, since it depends on you. If you're thinking that, okay, this position is temporary, so I might just do my job, I must just do what is given to me, well, my obligations, just get rid of it and done. So it all depends on you. So you can be this side or you can be that side. So because it starts only from you and knowing yourself. Okay, since self-awareness is a very important skill to have, or very important, I can say, I would say it's a very important element to have in ourselves. So how to practice it? As I said, also critical thinking, you should critique yourself. Self-awareness is also the same. You can observe yourself. You can start from your own self. Just plan and observe how you spend your time during the day. Was your time spent productively? Did you do your task? Which task did you finish? Also, not only that, but try to have time for your friends and families. Okay, ask and listen others. This can happen if you make a kind of relationship with your mentors and peers. This camp is exactly one of the examples where you can build all these skills. Your mentors are the one who can help you in any task that you're given. Not only those, but if you ask any questions regarding any program abroad or a statement of purpose, if Walid is sending you any example of statement of purpose, because he wants to help you to, to build up this mentorship and mentee relationships. Also peers, since you are 20 participants, you have a group, even you can have a friendly environment there. You can help each other. Some people, they have been to LEAP program. You can help those who are in grade 10, 11, and say that, hey, if you do this stuff, then you can also be USMBC alumni, you can go for LEAP, you can maybe you can apply for UWC, for ACA, for US, for Europe universities. Also try to reflect and prioritize your important change, like reflect your own self, reflect observing yourself, how much your confidence have been boosted from the past until now by participating in different programs, by meeting different people. Also, how more organized you have become. If you were aggressive in the past, how much have you become very friendly now? How productive you have become. If you are spending your days uselessly in the past, in what way you are spending now? Are you reading some kind of books, or you're just hanging out with your friends? So just reflect on your own self, because everything starts with you, not just you are born with this kind of skills. No one is born with these skills. True leaders are the one who practice and who cultivate these skills in themselves. Okay, if you have any questions.
Mace, do you have my voice?
Yes.
For today, we have any homework or no?
You don't have homework, but you will play a small quiz.
Okay.
May I ask a question, Miss?
Yes. Go on.
Do you hear me?
Yes, go on.
My question was about the journal.
Yeah.
Would you tell me that how can we write a good journal, and also what are the benefits of writing a journal? Should we write just the things that we did, or the things that we are gonna do, or the timetable that we have got?
Okay. Yesterday I also I talked in short about it. You can keep your journal. Okay. The benefit of journal is that it gives you a sense that how productive have you been, or how and what ways you have spent your time. If you have done your task, you can simply just give a mark of, yeah, this is done, this is done, this is remaining, I didn't do this, this is crossed. You can also write the task that you have already done. You can also write the task that you will do tomorrow, because if you schedule your day a day before, while you schedule your tomorrow the night before you sleep, it gives you a sense that when you wake up in the morning, it gives you a sense that, yes, I have these goals to accomplish today. If you do not Like people are different. Some people schedule their day in the morning, while some people they schedule their day a day before, in the one night before. Just choose the way that works best for you. Whatever works for you, you can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no other question?
No question.
Okay, then I'm typing the deadlines for you in the chat bar. You have 3 assignments, as I told you in the very beginning. Do you see them? Now, you have got the book review that you have to send it to Ilyas by today, midnight. It's July 14, Tuesday. Tomorrow you have 2 deadlines. One for the proposal that you have to send it to, I think, mentors or Sarwary himself by July 15, which is Wednesday tomorrow. The same, you have to write your SOPs to me by July 15, which is again tomorrow. So today 1 assignment, book review, tomorrow 2 assignment, proposal and statement of purpose for the university that you want to apply, okay? Seemin, if you stop sharing screen.
Yeah,
book review?
Yeah, book review that Ilyas talked about it in the first day. So you will have a book review that you have to write a review about if you want to.
How's SOP homework?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah?
Do you have my voice?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So you said book review and proposal.
Can you please type your answer?
These are our homework that we make.
We couldn't hear you. Could you please type your question in the chat bar because your internet is very weak. The book review, let me tell you about all the 3 assignments. The book review, you write a review about a book that you have read. Yeah, it can be any book, your favorite book.
I mean, they summarize that Ilyas, you sent it to our email. We have done it. Summarize of it was. Yeah, summarizing it was. It was a story about a dark brown dog, and he said that you must summarize it, and we done it, and we sent.
Okay, if you've done it,
yeah.
no problem.
Yes,
if you've done it, your deadline is today. You have to send it. Can you please?
Yeah,
done it.
Yes, we done, and we sent to our counselor.
Okay, all right. About the proposal, Husna, I just talked with Sarwary. I got the deadline from him, and I'm gonna send it to you. I probably will do this. I will probably put it in a Google Drive and send you the link, or I will send it just to your email. The guideline for the statement proposed and the guideline for the proposal. I will send it to you just right after the meeting in 10 or 15 minutes, okay? So you're done. If you're done with the book review, good. Now you've got only 2 other assignments, SOP and proposal. That's it.
We are done only with. You are done only with a short story review, not book review.
Well, that's short story. If that's a short story, if Ilyas asked you a short story, then that's a short story, okay? Because a book probably will take a lot of time. Maybe that's why Ilyas decided to give you story. That's okay. Now I would like to ask all of you to turn on your cameras. If Karima is here, yeah, she's here. Can you please turn on your cameras before we go, because we can just take some picture and talk with cameras seeing you. I want to see you, please. If you don't want to see me, I can turn off my cameras. But please turn on your cameras, if possible, for some minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Now I will. Yeah, I see everyone. That's nice. Hamed is in the roof. Hamid. Is it Hamid or Hamed?
That is Hamed.
Hamed. Okay. Where are other guys? You're not turning your cameras on.
So you say that you're gonna give us a Google form. What about that for the personal statement?
About the Google form, as long as you're applying to different universities, I mean, someone maybe write a statement of purpose for AUCA, someone wants to apply for UWC, someone wants to apply to another university. So that's why I disregarded the Google form. You will not have a Google form. You will just have to write a statement of purpose in a Word document file and send it to me, okay? And I'll give you feedback by July. If you send it by tomorrow, which is your deadline, July 15, I will send you with feedbacks back on July 16, one day after your deadline. And that's going to be the end of the camp on July 16 when I send you the feedbacks.
Okay.
Everyone is happy?
Sir, how we can got this recording from here?
About the recordings, it's not yet exposed in YouTube, but we will have a YouTube channel in which we will put all the recordings soon.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. If you have no question, then I'm really happy to see you. This is the end of the 4th day, so I will see you tomorrow. Happy day.
Okay, good day.
Bye.
Care of yourself.
Good day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good day.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day.
Good day.